Why would anyone want one of these big old heavy CRT tube TVs in 2025? Well, if you're a retro gamer, you're looking for authentic pixel perfect graphics, zero input lag, and compatibility with your light gun games. For decades, CRT TVs were how these games were played. Playing a retro game on an LCD TV is like trying to boil a pizza when you need an oven. But maybe that's not you. Maybe you're an old TV show fan who just loves that authentic analog glow. Or maybe you're a nostalgic physical media fan who just wants to hook up a VCR and watch VHS tapes and 4x3 DVDs the way they were meant to be seen. The good news is no matter why you want one, the challenge is the same. How do you find a good CRT TV for free or cheap? How do you make sure that you don't get ripped off? In this guide, we're going to cover it all. I'm going to go through a step-by-step tutorial on how you can use online tools like Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, and Craigslist to find free or cheap CRT TVs in your area. Even if it's been a couple decades since you've last had a CRT TV, I'll go over TVs by decade, input connection types, brands, shapes of the screen, size of the sets, and search terms to use. I'll tell you about seller red flags that you want to look out for and green flags that you want to look for. Let's find a CRT TV that's right for you. And make sure that you stick around to the end because I'm going to take all this information and apply it in a real-world CRT TV online hunt. And we'll go on Facebook Marketplace and see what deals and what ripoffs we can find in my area. Hey, soon I'm going to make a video going into the reasons why you want a CRT TV for retro gaming, so you better subscribe so you don't miss it. Decades of CRT TVs. The 1970s, the antenna era. The 1970s were dominated by antenna TVs, with many households still using black and white sets. Color TVs in this era were made in America and still had RF-only connections designed for rabbit ear antennas. While you might be tempted by the nostalgia of a 1970s set, be aware that early game systems like the ColecoVision and most of the Atari 2600's library were designed for color, and I wouldn't recommend a 1970s set for your first CRT TV. The 1980s, the rise of modern CRTs. The 1980s was a decade where Japanese manufacturers hit their stride, defining the modern CRT TV. Early in the decade, sets still used RF connections but quickly transitioned to coaxial cable with the rise of cable TV, and then RCA composite AV connections thanks to the rise of the popularity of VCRs. The aesthetics of the 1980s TVs were also quite distinct. This is a great era to look for free TVs. The 1990s, the golden age. In this decade, we saw the switch to higher quality video connections like S-video and later component video. Stereo sound was also becoming a standard feature. Japanese manufacturers were at the top of their game, and the late 90s are widely considered the golden age of CRT TVs. The early 2000s marked the beginning of the end for CRT TVs as LCD and plasma TVs entered the market. This time saw the transition away from analog broadcasting, and while CRT TVs were on the way out as new consumer products, some of the best sets ever were made and produced during this time. This era also saw the rise of combination sets with built-in and often unused DVD players or VCRs. A guide to CRT connections. Over the decades that CRTs were popular, the way we connected things to them has evolved. Each connection type has its own flavor. Antenna RF only. These old sets had two screw plates where an antenna attaches. You may need a small prong to coaxial adapter to get them to work with a game console. While the Sega Genesis and the original NES shipped with an RF adapter, the signal can be a little noisy, and I would recommend passing on these for your first CRT. Coaxial. Popularized by cable TV in the late 1970s and early 1980s, this was a single round cord where you screw it into the back of the TV set. It provides a much better picture quality than over-the-air RF signals. And while people talk about playing video games on channel 3, this is the connection that they were using. Just remember to pre-align the cord and press gently in as you rotate so that the grooves hit the receiving end of the coaxial connection. It takes a while to get it right, and it can sometimes be frustrating. While some purists dislike it, RF has a nostalgic flavor that many people appreciate. RCA Composite AV. This is the classic connection most people remember. A yellow plug for video and white and red plugs for mono or stereo audio. Popularized by VCRs, it was a big step up from RF. Don't let those snobs discourage you from trying composite AV. It is super simple to use, and a good composite AV setup is a quick, easy, and looks great. Just remember the colors as ketchup, mustard, and mayonnaise, the condiment connections. Pro tip: if an AV port on a free TV is not working, try cleaning it with some rubbing alcohol to remove the corrosive ion residue, dust, and gunk before giving up on it. S-Video. I love S-Video. This is where the picture quality starts getting seriously good. S-Video separates the video signal into color and brightness, creating an incredibly bright, detailed picture while still using the standard red and white RCA plugs for stereo sound. S-Video separates the video signal into color and brightness, which is more than I can do with my laundry. Nintendo, in particular, did an amazing job with S-Video on the Super Nintendo, N64, and GameCube, and the result is excellent. If you find a set with S-Video, you are in for some awesome retro gaming. In my opinion, it gives you 95% of the picture quality enhancement of component with only 20% of the cost and hassle. Component video. This is the final and best analog connection widely available on consumer TVs in America. It splits the video signal across 3 separate cables, red, green, and blue for maximum quality, along with 2 more cables for stereo audio. 5 separate cables for 1 picture. That is a TV equivalent of needing 3 chargers for 1 phone, but trust me, it's worth it. The image quality is stunning, but be warned, high quality component cables from brands like HD Retrovision can get expensive, but once you get used to the picture, it's hard to go back. Knowing the difference between S-Video and component is key, and later in the hunt I'll show you exactly how to spot these crucial inputs in a typical blurry marketplace photo. SCART and RGB. I have to mention SCART because it is the pinnacle of analog picture quality. This was a European standard that provided a direct RGB signal directly to the TV. Gamers in Europe were lucky because many sets came with this connection built in, but for the rest of us, getting an RGB signal requires expensive custom cables or modifying the TV itself. Hold off on RGB. For your first trip into the wonderful hobby of CRT collecting, I recommend that you stick with a set that has composite AV or S-Video. Don't pursue RGB modding just quite yet. Stick to the semi-sane parts of this hobby. A guide to CRT TV brands. Different companies had different areas of the CRT market, from high-end to reliable mid-range and to budget-friendly sets. And while there is a cult of personality around certain brands, here's my breakdowns of the CRT TV manufacturers. A tier, the top contenders. These are the brands that constantly delivered excellent quality. JVC and Sony, both are A-rank Japanese brands, and they excel in different areas, but both are top-tier choices. Toshiba and Panasonic. Before they started using Orion tube, Toshiba made some A-rank sets. Don't pass up Panasonic either. While they don't get the same press as Sony, they made incredibly high-quality electronics in the 90s and 2000s. Philips and Philip Magnavox. Philips was a fantastic CRT TV maker, and they are more well known in Europe, but if you find an American Philips or a Philips Magnavox set, then go for it. B tier, solid performers. This tier includes a wide range of reliable sets that offer great value. Japanese brands. This includes some of the Toshiba combo sets, cheaper Panasonic models, NEC, Mitsubishi, Sharp, Sanyo, and Hitachi. Quasar is a budget brand for Panasonic, and if you see a Quasar set, that has Panasonic engineering. RCA, their true flat models in particular, are known to be very good. Korean brands, Samsung, Goldstar, Daewoo. Do not sleep on Korean-made CRTs. Samsung was a scrappy company that loathed the Japanese manufacturers and really wanted to beat them. They put their spite into making quality TVs. Apex. They are known for their cheap DVD players, but their CRT TVs punch way above their weight class and are a solid B-tier choice. C tier, the budget options. This is a category for everyone else, brands that are focused on stretching your dollar. This includes names like Zenith, Westinghouse, Magnavox, Proton, Broxonic, JCPenney, and Emerson. They made some okay sets, but they were definitely budget focused. Do not overpay for a C-list brand TV. When we go hunting later, we'll keep this tier list in mind and see if we can spot any A-tier gems hiding in plain sight for a C-tier price. The great debate, JVC D-Series tax and the Sony Trinitron tax. You can't talk about CRT TVs without talking about the Sony tax, which is a very real thing. Sony was a huge force in the CRT world. Many fans will say that their Trinitron line is the absolute best. Their flat Trinitrons are highly sought after, but be aware they can suffer from convergence issues, causing the sides of an image to look a little warped. Because of the cult of Sony, expect to pay a premium, sometimes an extra $100 or $150 just for the logo. And please do not give money to con men selling these sets for $300, $400, or $500. Don't do it. JVC D-Series. Many people swear by the JVC D-Series. These sets are famous for their big, curved bubble tubes that look reminiscent of a classic arcade monitor. I was lucky enough to get a 27-inch JVC D-Series for free, and it has a special place in my heart. Unfortunately, the D-Series tax is now a thing. One last thing to note, moving my 27-inch JVC D-Series up 3 flights of stairs was not easy. The Sony TV sets are even heavier. Your first TV and the philosophy of collecting. Having a CRT TV in the modern day is an esoteric, anachronistic choice. The only thing that matters is that you like the set that you get. Start small, start simple, and I think your first CRT TV should be a 14 to 20 inch set. These are the perfect size, easy to find and transport than the larger models. Don't chase a holy grail. Find the right CRT TV for you, not the ultimate TV that someone else on the internet thinks is the best. Don't try to find your grail TV right away. Start with a nice basic set that you can appreciate. Avoid the nostalgia trap. People often say, I want the exact model of TV I had as a kid. This can trap you in a nostalgic rabbit hole where you might overlook other great sets. Instead of hunting for one specific model, look for something similar from a different brand or even a different model from the same manufacturer. It might take a long, disappointing time to find that exact TV set. It's about the story. There is enjoyment to be had with almost every single CRT TV. If you like your TV, that's cool, and that's all that matters. Often the story about how you got that TV, rescuing it from the side of the road or finding it at a great deal is what makes it special, not the specs. Finally, I want to caution you against the cult of personality you might find in CRT groups on Reddit, Facebook, or Discord. This is a hobby with very passionate, opinionated people who have strong views. Their advice, however, is not applicable to a beginner who is just curious about playing retro video games on a CRT TV, and they might give you a ton of unsolicited advice that they claim is sage wisdom. You might hear extreme takes like S-Video is bad, RGB or nothing, or Sony is the only one that makes a truly good TV and $800 is a reasonable price for it. That is mashugana and hogwash. That is the neckbeard extremist that loves to spray their toxic cocktail of opinions in your directions when you specifically ask for help. I encourage you to take this kind of advice with a grain of salt before you cite it as gospel truth. And yeah, I wholeheartedly acknowledge the hypocrisy of me, some dude on the internet, telling you not to trust some dude on the internet. And if anyone tells you to go into the TV's service menu to adjust the geometry, be extremely careful before you touch anything. Meticulously write down all the default factory settings. Messing with these is an advanced, hardcore gamer move and not something for the beginner. CRT screens generally fall into 3 categories, each with its own fans and quirks. Flat screens. The purpose of a flat screen is to provide a great viewing experience with no curvature or distortion. Sony's flat Trinitron are the most famous. Panasonic made an excellent competitor brand called the Tau, T-A-U, which often doesn't have the same geometry problems as the Sonys, and RCA made a cheaper alternative called the True Flat, which is definitely worth a look if you see one. Flat CRT TVs are known for having mechanical issues, especially convergence problems. I joke that Sony's CRTs turned hobbyists into engineers, much like Italian motorbikes turns riders into mechanics. The main difference is that the TV is less likely to leak oil on your carpet. They require more glass and metal, making them significantly heavier than the curved sets. Slight curves. This is the default look for most CRT TVs and offers a great middle ground. The electron gun on a CRT TV works well on a slight curvature, and these sets often have excellent viewing angles. You get the best of both worlds, a classic look that isn't too pronounced. Many manufacturers made some excellent slightly curved TVs, including Sony. My own Panasonic has a nice slight curve. They are much cheaper to manufacture and transport. Big old bubble tube. These have a pronounced curved screen that provides a very arcade-like experience. Some people just love that bubble tube look. You can say they are well-rounded collectors. JVC is known for curved screens, and their D-Series is lusted after for this reason. Some RCA sets also have a great bubble tube look to them. The baby got back factor. JVC put the big bubble tube on the map. These are often the sets that have thick scan lines, which really add to the arcade feel. As the great Seattle philosopher Sir Mix-a-Lot appreciated the curvy female form, some people just like a certain shape. And I think he put it best when he opined, "My anaconda don't want none unless it's got buns, hun." The downsides. These can be more prone to issues like redshift over the years, but if you don't know what that is, then you shouldn't worry about it. Prices, size, and combo units. The controversial part. Here is the controversial part of the video. Many CRT TV fans hate it when YouTubers talk about TV prices, actually blaming them for CRT price inflation. So let's talk about what you should actually pay, keeping in mind that these prices vary by size, brand, and condition. These are general ranges for a tested TV that have no obvious defect and have a remote. 14-inch sets and RF-only sets. For an RF or coaxial-only set, the maximum that I would pay is $50 or maybe $60. And remember, it really wasn't that long ago that people just gave them away for free. For sets with RCA composite AV, a fair price is $50 to $75 tops. Do not pay triple digits for a 14-inch TV. This is where TV sets start to get really good. With composite AV only, the maximum price that I would pay is around $120. If it has advanced inputs like component or S-video, I'd go as high as $160. Large TVs, 22 inches and up. For a 27-inch set with good geometry, I'd go as high as $160 to $200, but you have to verify that it works well. And this is where they start to get really difficult to transport. For TV sets over 26 inches, like 32 inches, they're actually a huge pain to move, so I would not pay more than $150 to $200, and you have to factor in getting a dolly, using a truck, and moving them up and down stairs. Small 9-inch sets. For some reason, people just love them, and they really like the small 9-inch CRT TV sets. There are some Orion-made sets branded by Toshiba and others that are well regarded. They are cute and people like putting them in small places. That being said, I would not pay more than $100 for them. So keep these prices in your head, and we're going to use this as a guide to judge the listings we find later on and see if they're a fair deal or a total ripoff. TV VCR or TV DVD combos. These are often cheaper, and it's a good bonus if the built-in DVD player works, but don't expect it to. Common issues include failing DVD drive eject motors or VCRs needing cleaning or lubrication. I would not pay extra for a combo unit because standard standalone DVD players are basically free now, and you'll be hooking up a game console anyway. That being said, don't sleep on them. I jokingly refer to some Toshiba combo sets as the Toshiba Anime Master because they're perfect for watching anime on VHS or DVD and using them with the sleep timer. Seller red flags. Beware of flippers, Wulfers, and shippers. I want you to be on the watch for these 3 types of sellers who are making it difficult for the average person to buy a CRT TV. Flippers, Wulfers, and shippers. And when you see a listing, ask yourself which category the seller falls into. Hopefully, it's none of the above. The flipper. A flipper is someone who gets a free or cheap TV and immediately tries to sell it for a high price, like $150 or $200 or more. They exploit people's lack of knowledge by making incredible claims about a TV's quality or rarity that are often not true. They know what's in demand and the difference between a common model and a rare model, and they will often try to sell a common set at a rare price. And they will claim a common Magnavox is super rare and in demand with retro gamers. And the only thing that's super rare is their honesty. They're always hunting garage sales, thrift shops, and online marketplaces. They aren't looking for most people, they're looking for marks and suckers, and will use high-pressure tactics like saying, "This is moving fast, you gotta buy it now," to make a sale. The Wulfer, W-U-L-F-E-R. A Wulfer is a niche slang term from online stereo forums like Audio Karma that has bled into the CRT hobby. This is someone who comes across a CRT that they don't use, maybe it's from a relative, and then they try to sell it for a lot of money, claiming it is the ultimate thing. And trust me, we're going to see this exact type of seller when we start looking at the listings in a few minutes, and I'll show you how to spot them a mile away. The key difference is ignorance. A Wulfer is characterized by their complete ignorance of the item or the market. A flipper knows the market and is intentionally selling high, while the Wulfer is acting out of ignorance, genuinely believing their dusted, untested piece of gear is a rare treasure worth a fortune. Telltale signs of a Wulfer listing. Vague descriptions. "I'm selling my late husband's old stereo." Untested. They'll say, "Untested," or "I don't have the cords to test it," even though all I need to do is plug it in, and often say, "The power light comes on," as if that's proof that it works. often call every single CRT a gaming monitor, which is a specialized term. They throw the word monitor around. It's probably a Wulfer. They'll perform a flawed search, find the highest buy it now price for a pristine version of the item, and then assume their untested basement find is worth the same. They'll say, "These things sell for $700 on eBay." They use the phrase, "I know what I got, no lowballers." If you see a listing that you disagree with, don't argue with the seller. It's not worth your time or the bad karma. Just block them so you don't see their future listings and move on. Shippers and the eBay problem. Do not ship CRT TVs. A shipper is someone who's trying to send a CRT TV through the mail, and it's not going to work in 2025. It is incredibly risky, and you are likely going to get a broken TV, and it's a phenomenal waste of time and money. These sets are heavy, fragile, and contain a lot of glass and metal. Modern package handlers do not give them the care that they require, and they just throw them around. You wouldn't ship a puppy through the mail, so don't ship a CRT TV. eBay is not reality. People who sell on eBay inflate their prices, and the listed price isn't the same as the sold price. Sellers can use a fake sock puppet account to bid on their own items, creating a fake bidding war and jack up the price. People look up an item, see the high price, and assume that that's the actual value. This leads sellers saying, "I know what I got," and overcharging by 25% or more. Remember, a CRT TV is a used item. The vacuum tubes wear out, and two identical sets can have radically different values depending on their usage and condition. The goal of this video is for you to develop the skills to tell the difference between hyperbole and bullshit. Here is a comprehensive list of the red flags to be cautious of when dealing with online sellers. Overuses the phrase retro gaming. I mean, yeah, CRT TVs can be used for retro gaming, but they can also be used to watch Night Court reruns. Poor listing quality. Listings that don't show you the TV working, use stock photos, or have descriptions that were clearly written by AI like ChatGPT are quite suspicious. The professional flipper. Check the seller's other items. If they have hundreds of items on Facebook Marketplace listings like used power tools, Funko Pops, and Beanie Babies, they're likely a professional flipper who will use inflated prices. They might be part of a CRT Facebook group that is dedicated for flipping CRT TVs. If you see these phrases in a listing, proceed with caution. "I know what I got. Low ballers will be ignores." This is a huge red flag. "It is an easy fix. It just needs a new bulb." This is completely wrong because it shows that a seller doesn't understand how CRT TVs work. It's like selling a car with no engine and then says, "It just needs some new air in its tires." Green flags. How to spot a good CRT TV deal. It's not all red flags. Here are some green flags and positive things to look for in an online listing. Good, honest photos. I love a listing with clear photos, but be wary of listings with overly professional photography, and those sets tend to be overpriced, but the best listings have photos showing the TV turned on and was playing something, even if it's just a DVD, the model number in back, which you can use to tell the screen size, and a clear shot of the rear input ports. Bad photos. Sometimes the seller is a little old lady who has a flip phone from 1999 who likes to take pictures with the lights off. Sometimes the best CRT TVs are sold by senior citizens with poor digital photography skills, but we'll forgive them. An honest seller listing a problem. A seller who is upfront about any defect or problems is a great sign. It's okay if an input doesn't work as long as you know about it ahead of time. If the seller has the original remote, that's a huge plus. If they have the original manual, that's a super duper green flag that shows that they took care of their stuff. The little old lady seller. I have a special appreciation for the little old ladies who just want their old TVs gone. Be nice to them and tell them that you'll use it to play video games, and appreciate that they aren't like a greedy grandson trying to flip it for hundreds of dollars on eBay. The Big CRT TV Hunt, a step-by-step guide. Alright, cats and kittens, take notes because school is in session. I'm going to talk about how to use Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, and Craigslist to find your next CRT TV. You've got the theory, and you know the red flags and the green flags, and now it's time to put it all into practice. The hunt begins right now. Part 1. Facebook Marketplace. Let's start with Facebook Marketplace, which is hands down the best option. Setting up your search. First, you're going to want to set your location and filters. The location tab is on the left, location and radius. I'm setting my location to Portland, Oregon, and the radius to 100 miles. Sort by. Change this from suggested to date listed, newest first. This is important. Delivery method. Select local pickup because we're not interested in shipping. Condition. Don't bother clicking the conditions because of course it's going to be used. Date listed. I haven't checked in a while, so I'm going to set it to last 7 days. I would recommend checking Facebook Marketplace the same time every day and using the last 24 hours filter in the future. Availability. Make sure it's set to available. Now we're ready to take a look at some listings using the search term CRT. 19-inch Sylvania, Portland, Oregon. This is a C-list brand from 2003. The pictures are good, showing the angles and the sides, but not the back. I'd assume it's a mono composite set. The seller has good ratings with only a few items listed, so he doesn't look like a professional flipper. If I were looking for a 19-inch TV, this is one I would consider messaging. Since it was posted recently, you'd message him right away saying, "Hey, I'm interested in your CRT TV and I like retro video games and I'm not a bot." 18 or 19-inch Emerson, $40. This is a combo unit and I can see 3 inputs, so it's stereo. And the listing says that there's no remote and the DVD player needs clean, but $40 is a good price for a TV of this size. The seller has some stuff for sale, but not hundreds of items, so I can tell that they're not flippers. This is an excellent TV for the price, and I would go ahead and message them. 9-inch Magnavox, $50, Troutdale, Oregon. This is a smaller, cute TV, and some people really like the 9-inch sets. It's mono, which is fine, and it has the remote. The pictures show it working and it has a slight bubble tube, and for $50, this is an excellent TV that you could put on your desk for classic gaming. And the seller only has a few things listed, so I'm not seeing any red flags. 20-inch Magnavox, $100, Eugene, Oregon. Eugene is a ways away, but it looks like this is a good listing. The description says it works great and the remote is included, although the case is a little cracked and it might need some tape. The picture shows the front input and what looks like a coaxial input on the back. It was made in 2005, and this is a very realistic, excellent listing if you're in Central or Southern Oregon. 19-inch Samsung, $100, Independence, Oregon. This is a Korean-made TV from before Samsung became big and cool. Here's a red flag. I'm checking the seller's details, and this guy is a professional seller with a ton of items listed, including used shoes. And I'm not saying don't buy from professional sellers, but definitely be careful. He probably got this for free, and the TV looks okay, but there's no picture of the back, and I don't see a remote. 14-inch Admiral, $35, Gresham, Oregon. The picture is out of focus, which is actually a good sign because it means the person isn't too slick. This is a C-list brand from 1993, and I can see from the photos that this is coaxial only, so I'd call this an RF only TV. The price is great at $35. This would be great for playing Sega Genesis or the original Nintendo. For $40, you can get yourself a CRT TV, and that's not bad. Widescreen Panasonic Tau, $550, Vancouver, Washington. Okay, here's where we get all the red flags. You see all this text? This person used ChatGPT to write this. This is computer generated. Second, HD CRTs like this are incredibly heavy, and light gun games will not work on them. They're fine for PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360, but not classic retro games. Third, that $550 price is too much. It has some great inputs, HDMI, component, S-Video, the manual, and a remote, but this is not an entry-level TV. This seller isn't a professional, but that price is just way too high. 27-inch Toshiba, $80, Beaverton, Oregon. Phenomenal price. He marked it down from $110. It's a 2005 model, and it comes with the original remote, and it has a component, regular AV, and S-Video inputs. This is a great listing. The only thing is, this would be much better if it showed a picture of it working. Still, this is very promising. I would message them and offer $85 or even more. Pay cash and pick it up. 24-inch Sony Trinitron, $100, Florence, Oregon. Here's another listing with robot-generated text from ChatGPT, which is a red flag. However, there are many green flags here. He has the box, which often means that he has a remote and took care of it. The seller doesn't have too many items listed, and this is a really excellent TV. I'd offer him $110 and tell him I'd drive out to test it. With Sony sets, you definitely want to check the geometry with a game like Super Mario World to see if there's any weird warping. 32-inch Quasar, $175, Portland, Oregon. Quasar is secretly Panasonic, which is an A-list brand. This TV is gigantic. My biggest TV is 27 inches. This is 32. That's big. And it comes with the remote, manual, and even has a digital TV converter box. The downside is that there is no S-Video or component. But the price is a lot, but this is also a lot of TV, and you could see if he'd take $150. 27-inch Panasonic Tau, $200 or best offer, Tacoma, Washington. This is one of the best combo sets. This seller has some stuff for sale, but isn't a professional shipper. Since he says, or best offer, I'd first offer $150 cash and see if he takes it, and then negotiate up. I like Panasonic Taus, but I would be pleased with this set. 27-inch Sony Trinitron, $115, Salem, Oregon. The listing says you need to bring help to load it, so it's heavy. The price is excellent, and the pictures show S-Video, regular AV, and component input, plus front AV jacks. This is a 2002 vintage, and the seller looks like she's having a garage sale and isn't selling hundreds of items. This is an excellent price. I would totally offer $120. Overall, this is a very productive search. Using different search terms. It is important to try different search terms because Facebook doesn't always show everything. And I have to reset my filters every time. I just wish it would remember the filters. TV with VCR. Found a cute 9-inch set with a handle for $80. Retro TV. Showed about the same listings. Tube TV. About the same listings. Old TV. About the same listings. Part 2. OfferUp. Next, let's take a look at OfferUp. And I don't like that it has a maximum radius of 30 miles. And I've mostly found it to be a ghost land. Right now, I'm seeing an expensive Sony computer monitor, which are good, just not what we're looking for, and a 19-inch RCA combo set where the seller is honest and say that it's acting a little bit funky, which is a red flag on the condition. And I also see a cool designer TV that was listed for $750 that was last updated 2 years ago. This person is just sitting on it. Part 3. Craigslist. Now, let's try Craigslist for Portland, and this is where you find the professional flippers. I immediately see a flipper who lives around 82nd and Johnson Creek who is selling all of his collected free CRT TVs. Here is a Hitachi for $275. Nope. Here is the same widescreen Panasonic trying to get $500. And here is another guy who is also a flipper, and the prices are maybe 25% higher than I'd like, but not high blood pressure level high. Let's look at this 27-inch Akai. It's a C-list brand and has no advanced inputs, and here's a red flag. He has a ton of listing and the price is firm, and he wants to meet at the Fred Meyer parking lot, which is not a good location for testing a TV. As you can see, Facebook Marketplace has been pretty good. OfferUp was pretty much a ghost land, and the professional flippers are trying to offload their good on Craigslist. Final tip: strategy, safety, and etiquette. Before you start searching, you need a plan. Success in buying CRT TVs often comes down to good preparation and communication. Knowing your driving limits. Decide how far you're willing to drive for a TV. Personally, I'd be willing to spend up to 4 hours total on a trip, 2 hours to get there and 2 hours to get back. For me, that's about a radius of 120 to 140 miles. Know your cutoff because the perfect TV might be too far to pick up. Communicate with kindness. It is very important to be polite and thankful to the people that take their time to post their TVs. Many sellers skew a little older, so it helps to think of them as your parents or grandparents. Sometimes they are selling the TV for a parent who has passed away, so be courteous and kind. Humanize yourself. Do not use the default phrase, "Is it still available?" to message on Facebook Marketplace. Sellers are tired of seeing that. Write a simple custom message saying that you are interested in the TV for playing old video games or watching old movies. This instantly humanizes you and puts you ahead of the flippers and folks that use the automated messages. Professional flippers often pick the big cities clean, so the best deals are often a ways away. Cash is king. Always be willing to pay cash and let the seller know that you are going to want to pay in cash. Do not assume that an older seller will use online payment apps. If a seller doesn't speak English, try using the Google Translate app on your smartphone. People have gotten really great CRT TVs by trying to communicate in the seller's language, like Spanish. Ask about the shop TV. If you're out and you see a TV in the shop, don't be afraid to ask about the TVs that you see in the wild. If you're at a restaurant or taco shop with a CRT TV in the corner, you can talk to the shop's owner and offer to buy it or trade it for a modern flat screen TV. The worst they could say is no, and you might get to go home with a taco shop TV that smells like burritos when you warm it up. Just don't lick the screen. Always test it. Test the TV before buying it to make sure that it works properly. Bring your own game system with a game that you know well, like a Super Nintendo with Super Mario World or a Sega Genesis with Sonic the Hedgehog. A great tool is a flash card like an EverDrive with the 240p Test Suite ROM, which is designed specifically to test and calibrate CRT TVs. A link to this awesome tool will be in the description of this video. Beware of zombie listings, posts for TVs that have already been sold but were never taken down. Check the posting date. Plan how you'll transport the TV. Sets 27 inches or larger can get very heavy. Google the model number to check the weight. If it's over 100 pounds, then you want to bribe a friend to help you, especially one with a truck. They deserve pizza and beer for their troubles. A 32-inch Trinitron can top easily 150 to 160 pounds, and the only thing that you'll be lifting after that one is a bottle of ibuprofen. Use safe listing and transport methods. Use a dolly truck or hand truck to transport the TV upright, and use a blanket to prevent scratches on the screen. Use proper ergonomics and lift with your legs and hold the TV close to your body. It's not worth a hernia, back injury, or ruptured disc to get a CRT TV. Be patient. Don't get discouraged. Finding the right CRT TV can take time, and you have to be patient and wait for that right listing to pop up, and it will happen. I have wanted to make this video for a long time, and hey, I'm going to make future videos on why you need to do this, why you need to get that CRT TV. So if you like this video, get ready for that. We make videos like this each week, and there are some really cool ones coming up, and you should totally click that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And if you like this video, it would really help out if you would hit the like button, because that tells YouTube that you thought this video was pretty darn good. Thanks for watching. This is 8-Bit Joystick. Stay awesome. Play retro.